This video is for you that you are working on your online business, but somehow you feel like you need to force yourself to work. You're struggling. You feel like you are procrastination. You're trying to find solutions, but you don't seem to find them. And this video is not going to be a scripted video. It's just me sharing my experience on how I solve this and what you can do to solve this by my experience. And first of all, I want to start with my experience with other previous business. Look, I have done like a tons of business in the past. I've done multiple business. I've done social media marketing. I've done drop shipping. I've done tons of business that I don't even have a name, like even affiliate marketing and stuff. And I have tried all the possible productive hacks, tips, and I know what works for me and I know what doesn't. And by my experience, there is something that I found myself recently that I think I fixed it. But in the past, I used to like struggle, try to force myself to work. I need to do routines. I need to just try to put my phone on the not disturb mode and do all of this kind of stuff just to be focused. And that's all that the productive guy will say to you, like put your phone on DND, be focused, turn off notifications and all this kind of stuff so that you can be focused. But the more you do that, the more you feel like you are forcing yourself to work. Like you need to force yourself, like you are more prone to procrastinate. And it's like a process where you struggle. You cannot do that automatically. You cannot just grind and get into that momentum and do the stuff that you want. And that's what was happening with me. And I tried multiple videos. I tried actually blocking the sounds. Like I tried like listening to binaural sound. I tried working in silence. I tried like music. I tried putting my phone off. I tried not using my phone at the first 12 hours. But somehow this problem kept coming. Like I was constantly procrastinating. I couldn't do the work. And over time, I just started to associate myself and think that maybe I am lazy or maybe like something is wrong with me, because there were other people around me that work was much easier for them, and for me looks like I need to drag myself into it. And then I started to work on that. I started to find solutions, and what I realized is that if you are forcing yourself to work, is that you already are failing in what you're doing. Why do I say this? Because let's pick the best geniuses that we know. I'm gonna pick Elon Musk as the primary example, but you can pick other people that you know and then you can analyze this factor. Let's pick, for example, like Elon Musk. And I don't know MrBeast, but I will use MrBeast as an example for this kind of stuff. And first of all is that Elon Musk works more than like, I don't know, 80 hours a week or 40 hours a week. I don't know how much, but I know that he works a lot. And do you think that he constantly forces himself to work into doing the work that he does? Like, I don't believe that you can work 40 to 8 hours a week and you force yourself to work. Like you don't want to do that. You feel annoyed and all kind of stuff, but you force and you do that. I don't believe like these kind of people do that. Talking about Elon Musk and MrBeast. MrBeast, when he talked about his podcast, that he was obsessed about YouTube, and then he would spend hours analyzing videos and all kind of stuff. I don't remember properly everything that he said on his videos, but I do remember that he talked that he spent thousands of hours obsessing over YouTube. And if you pick yourself and if you think for yourself, do you think is it possible to just a normal random person obsess over YouTube if he doesn't like it, if he forces himself to do? And the thing is, I'm just talking about this to just clarify that the problem isn't that you procrastinate. The problem isn't that you are a failure. The problem is what you are choosing to do isn't aligned with your goals. And this happens with a lot of people when it's about online money, because we want to make money fast. We want to be rich fast. Like, we have our needs, we want to escape for whatever we want to escape, but most part of the times we need to force ourselves to work because we are not doing what we truly want to. Even if it's for online business, even if that might lead us to freedom, most part of the times it's not what we want to do. For example, like I used to do drop shipping, and I do have some kind of vision of drop shipping that I want to do, and I did make a lot of money with drop shipping, but I could make more. But most part of the times that I was doing that, I was forcing myself to work. And when you're forcing yourself to work, your results are limited because your work capacity is also limited. And when you are working in something that you truly want, even though you were limited, even though like you work 8 hours a day, you will want to work more. Like you will grind, but you will want to work more. You will enjoy your life, but you will want to work more. Like work becomes like your fuel. It fuels yourself. It gives you energy. And when work is not giving you that energy, I'm not saying that works must make you happy, but works will give you energy, satisfaction, and something that you want to keep doing more and more and more, and gives you dopamine. That's what I'm saying. And if you're forcing yourself to work, it means that your work doesn't give you dopamine. It's not aligned to what you want. And what did I do to fix this? First of all, I tried a bunch of business. I tried like a lot of business to see which kind of business works for me and which kind of business doesn't work, until I find the business that was aligned with myself, that is kinda the business that I'm doing now, that is going to evolve over time to what I want to do. This is just a way of starting. That's the first thing that I did. I focused on finding the business that is aligned to my goals. And once I dedicated my time into doing this kind of business that I truly want, things started to change. I can work, like I don't need to force myself to work. Yeah, sometimes I procrastinate, but I do work more than I procrastinate. And I do believe that that's something that you need to have inside yourself. You don't need to force. You need to feel like you want to work. Like, yeah, I want to work because you want to feel dopamine instead of just wanting to watch Netflix. I want to work because I want to feel good. If I don't work, I won't ever feel good because my works give me energy. I don't say that I love every part of time of working online in what I'm doing, but I do feel energized when I do the things that I like. And it's about that. It's the first step that you need to do. You just try a bunch of businesses until you find what you like, until you find what you love. And then second is, when you find the business that you want, you don't need to follow the trends. Don't follow the trends if you find the business that you like and that you want to do, because it will ruin it. One of the things that I learned with my mentor, like with one of the guys that I like a lot in X writing, is that you gotta do things in the way you want. Because if you find the business or the thing that you want to do that you like, you gotta remember that it's gonna be a long-term game. It's gonna be like an infinite game. It's like creating content or writing. It doesn't matter if you got into trends today, but it matters if you can keep yourself relevant today, tomorrow, and for the many years that have to come. Like pick Iman Gaji, for example. He's been relevant since I've known him, since like 2022 to 2025. He's a relevant guy. He's like, people still trust his marketing stuff, even though a lot of people complain. But you gotta remember, and you gotta play the game in the way you envision yourself like to, because even though you find like what you want to do, it can be ruined by the expectations of the market, by trends, and by people telling you how you should play the game. But I just want to remind you that you don't need to follow someone else's definition of play the game. You just need to play the game your own way, and that's what you need. And that's the second thing that I recommend. Like, play the game your own way. Remember that it's a long-term game. Like, forget trends, forget frameworks, forget tips and tricks. Use them to your advantage, of course, but if you got to a point where you see that there are people that have succeeded in the way you want, they are doing unique stuff, and you are trying to follow frameworks to be successful, then you need to stop following these frameworks and just start exploring more and more and more, and to see what is there to you. And then the third stuff that I would recommend is having a great networking and having a great group of friends. One of the things that I have realized that have pushed me into working more and more is having a good kind of friends surrounded by me, and a good kind of networking that I do have online. Because when I was in Barcelona, I've experienced this the most, that I had a friend where she pushed me to work, where she pushed me to record vlogs, and she pushed me to do greater stuff. And when I'm here, I do have some kind of friend that pushes me into being the better version of myself, into recording more videos, into working more. And I do believe that that's what you need if you truly want to like stop procrastinating, like stop forcing yourself to work, is having the right people around you. Because it doesn't matter if you like what you do, if you feel energized, but if the people that are around you doesn't like or doesn't contribute for you to grind harder or like to work harder, then you're going to feel lazy, because the people around you are going to motivate you or inspire you to being lazy. That's what I noticed in myself when I hung out a lot with people who all they care was parties, all they care was just having fun and not grind. These people used to direct me in a way of laziness. All they cared about was just another stuff. Like, and I didn't have no one to push me into work. Like, of course, you need to push yourself to work, but the people that are around you are very important to make yourself and to push yourself to work. I just realized that the people around me were not pushing myself into that, and therefore I just start to eliminate them. I just start to focus on myself, focus on greater and healthier relationships, and here I am. I am doing great. I'm recording videos the way I want. I'm like being consistent, like really consistent. I just recorded my first vlog, and yeah. And the last thing that I want to talk about is like momentum. Don't ever break momentum, because when you're working hard, it's all about momentum. I don't know how I can explain to you, but it's like, for me, what I've experienced, it's like, if I am like working, I don't like to watch Netflix or any kind of stuff, like especially TV shows. I just like to watch movies. Why? Because it's like a momentum line. Like, the more you work, the more you get into a line of momentum, and you should avoid cheap dopamine. When I mean cheap dopamine, like Netflix, that is the cheap version of fast food of entertainment. And then you should avoid like porn and all kind of stuff like that. And then the more you avoid that stuff, you get into a kind of flow where, okay, you feel the need to socialize. You go out, you hang out with your friends, you do cool stuff with your friends outside, and you get like a bunch of healthy dopamine. And then you get home and you work harder and harder and harder. So if you can maintain a line of momentum of your daily habits, being constantly monk mode, constantly grinding, constantly momentum, and whenever you are free, you're either watching a movie, and if it's a TV show, it's a very unique TV show that you really love, and then you can maintain that flow, you're not gonna want to stop the work. Because I do believe that if you have good dopamine, not cheap dopamine like Netflix and all this kind of stuff that you can do at home, like fast food, you can eat good food, you can avoid sugar, and you can go to the gym, you can hang out like a lot with your friends, and then you can grind. If you're not grinding, you're either doing your hobbies, hanging out with your friends and stuff like that, man, you're not going to want to stop working, because that's the best recipe that I've found for my life. It's not grinding too much that you are locked in and you're not having a social life, but it's like separating grinding and enjoying life. That should be your momentum, and that's what have been working for me so far into like this online business and not forcing myself to work. And I just want to remind you that if you want to be a creator, I'm building and I'm creating a skill community. The link will be in the description below and in the pinned comments. If you do want to learn how to build leverage, to start creating content online, and to start working towards achieving your dreams. And that's all for today's videos. I hope you enjoy it.